Hey everyone, welcome back to my new video. Today, I'm going to share with you the methods to be a happier person according to Yale University and Science. And I'm 100% confident that you will find this video useful as I'll be going through with you many non-conventional methods. Today's episode is the second part to a two-part series, so if you haven't watched the first one, then make sure you go watch that first. Part 1 talks about the facts and findings from research about happiness, and I have touched on a few key findings from a free online course offered by Yale University, which I have taken recently. It is a 20-hour long course, and I've put a link down in the description box below. Feel free to go check it out. Again, I don't get any commission or anything like that. It is not an affiliate link. I'm just here to share the good stuff around. Now, it would make a lot more sense if you watch the previous video first, as in that video, I raised several questions that are going to be addressed by the methods I'm about to share with you today in this episode. And once again, everything I'm about to share with you today are based on science and research and not by opinions, so that should give you some credibility. But I will also add in some of my understanding and my interpretation into this video. Now, before I jump into the material today, if you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing, as I go through many topics ranging from personal finance, life planning to well-being that are particularly relevant to young adults and senior adolescents. But of course, anybody could benefit from my video if they're relevant to you. Okay, so I'm done with all the housekeeping. Let's get this video rolling. Let's start with something easier to digest first. Now remember, in the previous video, I've talked about the fact that our happiness, sadness, and feelings generally do not last long. Well, happiness is one of those feelings that we want it to last as long as possible. The more often we feel happy, the less frequent we feel unhappy. So how can we do that? Well, the first method is by savoring. It is the act of looking at your current experiences, especially the good ones, to review it and appreciate it from a third-person perspective. It is like watching yourself in a movie. The objective here is to prolong the effect of a current positive experience, like the vacation you had recently, the graduation, game nights with your colleagues, dinner party at your friend's place, etc. You can also share with others and tell people about your experiences. To make it even better, take photos and videos and look back at them to relive these moments in the future. By savoring your positive experiences, you are able to prevent your mind from being desensitized to the experiences. It is a huge waste to let many of our wonderful experiences to become just memories. And to top it all off, show appreciation to all these positive experiences you are enjoying. Never ever feel that you're entitled to all these, but a privilege in life for you to be present to enjoy all these experiences. With that said, we also want to find ways to better appreciate your current phase of life, and one of the best ways to do that is by negative visualization. Imagine if whatever you currently have, or whatever you are enjoying at the moment, are all nothing but just a dream. How would you feel when you wake up knowing this? You may not be satisfied with how little you have at this instance because of everything that other people have while you don't. But as mentioned in the previous video, our mind likes to use unwanted reference points to make comparisons with ourselves. But imagine this: if whatever you currently still have suddenly disappeared, then this would give you a wake-up call that you are at least better than the version of yourself who has nothing. And trust me, tons of people out there are in the same shoes as the version of yourself who has nothing right now at this moment. And while you are living your current life and experiencing something positive now, think not how it happened, but think how it might not have been. And to top it off, imagine what would life be if all this disappeared tomorrow? That today is the last day that you will experience life as is. Would this make you cherish whatever you have a little more? So far, we've talked about how to extend your happiness and how to appreciate whatever you have. Now we're going to talk about how to handle negative feelings. And one of the most important things for people to do is identifying your emotions. Very often, not knowing and being irrational made us anxious, and in turn, it may cause us to be sad or even depressed. By understanding where your root of sadness is coming from, you will then know how to fix it. Have you ever been to any counseling? And do you realize that you are doing most of the talking? The counselor is actually helping you to map out your root of your emotion. And when you finally found out the reasons, your mood just magically got improved, at least for a little. And by you identifying that piece of the puzzle, you regain some control over yourself. That is also why it is so important to identify your problems and emotions first. You can't fix it if you can't tell what it is. And in my previous video, I've talked about one of the major problems many people face nowadays, and that is by comparison. How our mind likes to compare ourselves with the wrong people. How we are always using the wrong points of reference. And so, naturally, our next method to happiness is to reset your reference point. Social media is undoubtedly the cause of most, if not all, of your social comparison. One easy way is to avoid it. Social media is highly addictive, but if you have identified that it is the cause of your negative emotion, then you have got to stop, for a while at least. Take a 7-day or 30-day social media free challenge. You don't have to cut all social media off, but pick one that affects you the most. If a complete removal is too much for you, then use it sparingly. When you notice your emotion is starting to deteriorate, then you need to remind yourself to stop immediately. Another strategy is to make it as inconvenient and unavailable for you as possible. Delete the app. Only reinstall it when you give yourself explicit permission to use the app. Or put your phone as far away from you as possible, or even hiding it. Anything to make it difficult for you to access social media, the better for you. Visibility and availability both matter. And when you start to have less harmful reference points around for you, start being grateful of what you have and where you are in your life right now, with strategies I've mentioned earlier. And that brings me to the next method, mind control. When our minds are not doing much, they tend to wander off and start to think about worrying and upsetting things. Our minds are just so inclined to feel negatively. That's why there is this common practice of find something to distract your mind. You don't need to have some bad incidents in your lives right now to find something to distract yourself. As mentioned, our mind simply likes to find something bad to think about, even when nothing bad is really happening around us, generally speaking. So there are ways to help you shift your tendency towards negativity to positivity. And one scientifically proven method is by meditation. All those who practice meditation know all these too well already. Meditation is a form of mind control that you can do to your own mind. You are rewiring how your brain should work. There are lots of studies and videos out there about meditation, so I encourage you to explore them if you find yourself constantly thinking about bad things unknowingly and unwantedly. On top of the 5 main groups of methods I've talked about today, there are also other standalone methods that are worth mentioning, and I'm grouping them into one single section called lifestyle adjustment. And I'll briefly go to review each one of them. And the first one is to invest in experiences and not in materialistic items. As mentioned before, happiness does not last, especially things that you get to see every day. The feelings get desensitized. But if you can invest in experiences, it is much easier for you to practice savoring and easier for you to share experiences with others. Remember I mentioned earlier that comparison often creates negative feelings? Well, experiences are more difficult for social comparison. Unlike comparing your cars or houses, experiences are very subjective. If you want to keep both yourself and your listeners happy, share experiences instead. Number 2 is increasing variety. Imagine having your favorite ice cream flavor every day. At some point, you'll get bored of it. So whatever makes you happy, when possible and ethical, change it up and have some variety. And then after a while, come back to the original one and you will realize how much more you appreciate your favorite ice cream flavor now. Nothing lasts forever, and that also goes to whatever you like. And number 3, prioritizing time over money. We all work hard to earn more money, and often than not, we are sacrificing lots of our time and compromising our overall well-being. You should work, don't get me wrong, but you should aim to work to gain enough financial independence and in turn, freeing up your time so then you can get to do things that you want. You may practically still be working the same way, but now your mindset is to work towards having more time and not money. This shift of prioritizing time over money will not only allow you to stop comparing your socio-economical status with others, but now you're also seeing yourself as a happier person than others. So aim to become time affluent and not money affluent. Number 4 is setting goals. It may sound like a cliche, but one who doesn't have a target to move towards to is someone who loses hope. You are just waiting for that last day of your life to come, and that is extremely sad. It is important to set goals in our lives. Think about a combination of some short, medium, and long-term goals you want yourself to reach. You don't necessarily need to have a fixed timeline, but you definitely need to be able to picture them in your mind. If you cannot visualize it, you cannot materialize it. There are many more strategies presented in that course, such as exercising, random acts of kindness, getting enough rest, and finding a job that utilizes your strength. But these are quite self-explanatory, so I won't go too in-depth into them. It is not an easy task to become a happier or a happy person. It takes conscious and intentional efforts to get there. But with everything I've mentioned in these two videos, you'll be able to think of your life and happiness differently. Nothing neither good or bad, but thinking makes it so. It is ultimately your perspectives and your mind that dictate your feelings and emotion. Everything I've talked about in these two videos are just scratching the surface from this online course from Yale. So if you have the time, I encourage you to take a look at this 20-hour-long course. It's free anyway. The link is in the description box below. And tell me in the comment section below which method is your favorite one. And as always, if you find this episode useful, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. And I'll make more videos such as this one in the future. Alright, that's all for today, and thanks for watching. Until next time, peace out.